content warning, possible invalidation of body dysmorphia from an actual fat person. So this is like a genuine question. How do I get non-fat people who have body dysmorphia talking about how disgusting they think they look because in their brain they look like me? How do I get them off my For You page? Because I can't deal with this. Like, these videos are so upsetting for me to watch, and I don't know what words I should block. I just need to understand. Like, I need guidance and I need validation.
What really confuses me about this statement is that he is fine with fat people having body dysmorphia and being on their feed, but thin people with body dysmorphia is a problem. It's the same disorder no matter what someone's body size is, so why do you feel the need to only exclude thin people? And then, they continue to double down on what seems like hatred of a mental disorder.
We need to talk about a major problem I have been seeing in the body positivity movement lately.
What is it like to only have incorrect opinions? Nobody is saying that body dysmorphia and fat phobia are the same thing. What we're saying is that the content that people are putting out about their body dysmorphia is fat phobic. The content. Not the disorder, the content. The content. Okay? Please relax and listen to a fat person for once in your life.
So you say it's the content that you don't like and is fat phobic, not the disorder, which is still a weird thing to say. But then you turn around and like this comment. Seems like you do believe a mental disorder is inherently discriminatory.
So like we're just gonna completely ignore the fact that body dysmorphia exists and they might literally see themselves as twice your size.
What is it with people who have eating disorders and are thin that refuse to believe they are fat phobic because of their eating disorder? I've been in treatment for months and these bitches are like, no, I can't be fat phobic, it's my eating disorder's fault. Your eating disorder is fat phobic. No one said it was your fault, but it's still fat phobic. You have to understand that eating disorders with the intention to control weight are rooted in fat phobia. And without that, you can never fully recover from your eating disorder or have a healthy relationship with food. And if you are not treated like a fat person in society, calling yourself fat in a derogatory way is harmful to actual fat people.
First of all restrictive eating disorders are not rooted in fat phobia. There are countless reasons someone can develop a restrictive eating disorder that has nothing to do with weight, like genetics or trauma. Second, body dysmorphia isn't even an eating disorder. It is an obsessive disorder, so your entire argument doesn't make sense.
I truly am gonna have to put body dysmorphia in my comment filters, because I swear to God, people only bring up body dysmorphia when it comes to fat phobia. Friendly reminder, fat people have body dysmorphia all the time. Fat people have eating disorders all the time. To me, it literally sounds like when women talk about oppression that they face, and men go, but what about circumcision? But what about how men have higher suicide rates? Like, you're only bringing it up in defense of being fat phobic, instead of actually advocating for the rights of people with mental illnesses. You're just angrily in fat people's business when we point out the societal oppression and stigma that we face. It's just not relevant to the discussion at all, because viewing yourself as fat and being perceived as fat by society are very different things. It's just not relevant to the discussion.
I don't have a clear rebuttal to this because I don't know exactly what discussion she is referring to, but I can say, please just let people with body dysmorphia live their lives. And I have seen a huge amount of people from the fat acceptance movement in the comments of people talking about body dysmorphia too.
Serious question for everyone who's using those body distorting filters and saying it's helping to cure their body dysmorphia. Do you actually have body dysmorphia? Body dysmorphic disorder is its own mental health diagnosis, separate from eating disorders. In fact, it's not even in the feeding and eating disorder section of the DSM, it's in the obsessive compulsive and related disorder section. It involves preoccupation with one or more aspects of physical appearance that the person perceives as defects or flaws. It also involves some degree of repetitive action or compulsive behavior. Using distorting filters or taking photos or videos of yourself is not going to actually help with body dysmorphic disorder, because that's not how you treat an obsessive obsessive or compulsive disorder. The worst thing you can do for someone with an obsessive or compulsive disorder is reassure them that their beliefs are not accurate. Using those filters are forms of body checking, which is actually going to make your body dysmorphia worse, not better. The most effective treatments involve ERP, or exposure and response prevention, which involves experiencing those intrusive thoughts and not engaging in the reassurance seeking or the checking behaviors. So if that filter helps you, it's probably because you don't have body dysmorphia, you just have internalized fat phobia.
Okay, I have a lot to say about this woman, so here we go. Your profile says you are a psychologist, so I'm not sure what your credentials are, but isn't one of the biggest things psychologists and doctors and other medical professionals learn is to not diagnose someone without a thorough analysis being done? Also known as, don't try to diagnose illnesses, especially mental illnesses, over the internet. You are doing exactly that right now by saying, if you do X action, then you don't have Y illness. And I don't think there's any mental health diagnosis that is that simple. You can give all the background you want on body dysmorphia to your audience, but that still doesn't mean you can use a single action to invalidate someone's possible mental illness. And the fact that you are presumably a licensed professional, that is deplorable behavior. There's not much to say about this other than that's an awful thing to say. You're basically telling strangers, anyone who comes across your video, that if they have a certain mental disorder, then they are discriminating against fat people. Please spend your life doing something else.
Yesterday I posted a video about body dysmorphia and a lot of people got very mad at me and then my video was taken down. So I'm going to try to rehash on that topic, hopefully making less people mad. I don't know if that's going to happen because I know this is a very controversial topic, especially right now on this app, but that's what I'm going to do. But before anyone says anything that I'm saying body dysmorphia does not exist, it does very much so exist. It's very taxing on people's mental health. It is something that is very real and very hurtful to very many people. It does exist. It is very real, and I am aware of that. That is something I know. So, but just because body dysmorphia is real and you are perceiving yourself to look like this doesn't mean that you need to use filters that are like making you look like a funny version of fat and post on here and say, wow, this is really how my body dysmorphia makes me look like. And then a bunch of people in the comments are like, yeah, oh my god, this is crazy. I'm glad I don't look like that. Like, this is all fatphobic rhetoric being spread around. The way you feel is valid, and that is happening to you. It sucks. It sucks. But posting that out on the internet, a fat teenager is going to come across that, read all the comments, and say, wow, people's worst nightmare is looking like me. People's worst nightmare is looking like me, and it's going to fucking hurt their feelings. There are so many other ways to have valuable and proactive conversations about body dysmorphia that don't center the conversation around you perceiving yourself as fatter than you are, and you using these filters to portray yourself fat in a comical way. There's so many other ways to sit down and have serious conversations about it that do not do that. I think something that would be helpful to a lot of people in this situation is trying to dismantle your internalized fat phobia. No, that's not going to solve everything. That might not make your body dysmorphia go away, but I do think it's a genuinely good place to start, and you can reflect inside yourself and hopefully get the message that fat people all over this app are trying to get across. I hope me saying it in a less aggressive way than I did before is somehow helpful to someone. Fat people have to deal with fat phobia and bullying and harassment every single day just for being fat, and the world perceiving you as fat is a lot different than you perceiving yourself as fat. And I think that's just the main point that everyone is trying to get across, to please try to listen and see from our point of view. Thank you.
Okay, so fat people have created a community on TikTok talking about their experiences with weight bias and discrimination. Great. There's no problem with relating to other people's experiences. Yet, people with body dysmorphia do the same thing. Talking about how a filter affects them, and the fat acceptance community turns around and says that's discriminating against me. If there is a community that is talking about their experiences and it does not include any bigotry, like a mental disorder community, and they say something like this filter helped me, if you don't relate to that statement, then move on, it's not for you. Period. Stop trying to police other communities.
A radical movement that was started by fat and disabled people to spread awareness about their issues and fight for legal protection has now devolved into a movement to make skinny people feel better about themselves while simultaneously shitting on the same people that started this. A lot of you guys really need to think long and hard about why you think looking fat is wrong.
It's really not that deep. If people with body dysmorphia find the filters helpful, cool. If anyone else uses it for fun, cool. And the fat acceptance movement was a movement started by fat people, the body positivity movement wasn't. Nobody took your movement.